Welcome to Words of Light for Today, a teaching ministry that shares godly principles while giving spiritual insight and divine revelation from the Word of God for the everydayness life brings. Be richly blessed as we join Linda Adkins.
Who is wise and understanding among you? He should show his works by good conduct with wisdom's gentleness. But if you have bitter envy and selfish ambition in your heart, don't brag and lie in defiance of the truth. Such wisdom does not come down from above, but is earthly, sensual, and demonic. For where envy and selfish ambition exist, there is disorder or confusion and every kind of evil. But the wisdom from above is first pure, then peace-loving, kind, compliant, full of mercy, and fruits of righteousness. Wow. Without favoritism and hypocrisy. And the fruits of righteousness is sown in peace by those who make peace. James chapter 3. And from 13 to 18. Okay. Let's do this. Go back a couple of pages. And look at this. He said this. He said, keep your eyes on Jesus. For consider him who endured such hostility from sinners against himself, so that you won't grow weary and lose heart. In struggling against sin, you have not yet resisted to the point of shedding blood, and you have forgotten the exhortation that addressed you as sons. So that's what we talked about, being sons and not children. My son, do not take the Lord's discipline lightly, or faint when you are reproved by him, for the Lord's disciplines the one he loves, and punishes every son he receives. Endure it as discipline. God is dealing with you as sons. For what son is there among whom a father does not discipline? But if you are without discipline, which all receive, then you are an illegitimate child. See, if you want to be a son, then you're going to be disciplined. If you want to stay a child, then you're just going to stay a child. He only disciplines sons. Furthermore, we had natural fathers discipline us, and we respected them. Shouldn't we submit even more to the Father of spirits and live? For they discipline us for all short time based on what seemed good to them, but he does it for our benefit so that we can share his holiness. No discipline seems enjoyable at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it yields the peaceable fruit of righteousness to all those who have been trained by it. Same thing James said. Peaceable fruit of righteousness. In 2 Timothy 4, Paul said a crown of righteousness was given to him. You go over to Isaiah 32, and the work of righteousness, oh my goodness, the work of righteousness means a great deal. I want to read it to you. The work of righteousness will be peace. We see peace is involved with every bit of righteousness. If there's any righteousness around, there's going to be peace. Amen. Any righteousness in your life, there's going to be peace. And the effect of righteousness is quietness. You see, if peace meant quietness, then he wouldn't have put quietness in it. Because he doesn't mix his words. He doesn't use words 2 times. If peace meant quietness, he said the work of righteousness, if righteousness is working, it's peace. There's peace. But the effect of righteousness, the effect is quietness. Two different things here. 2 different things. You have to understand how this functions. You have to understand how God talks. So, righteousness then is the principal thing that he wants to get on our mind. See, righteousness is involved with sonship along with holiness. We don't want to stay children. You don't want to be, I've been saved for 50 years. I've been saved since I was 5 years old, and can't anybody tell it. And you're crotchety, and you're hateful. And your children don't like to be around you. They hate it when it gets Thanksgiving. You know what I mean, don't you? There are things required of sons that are not required of children. He's trying to show us that within his glory that comes out in his purpose, there's training, and sometimes we don't like it. Amen. There's things that we don't like all the time. There's things that he uncovers in us that we'd rather not see. But if we will stand still and not faint and grow weary at it, we will like what he does. Because you don't want to stay a child all your life. You don't want, you see, you want the glory in you. You want the holiness. You want all that because it works in you the peaceable fruit of righteousness. It tells you in all these places. Go over to Philippians chapter 1. Philippians. He says this. Let me read it out of this Bible. He says this, and this I pray in verse 9, chapter 1, verse 9. And this I pray, that your love may abound still more and more in knowledge. See, your love has to come to knowledge. And this I pray, that your love may abound still more and more in knowledge and all discernment. Everybody don't have that. That you may approve the things that are excellent, and that you may be sincere. That you may approve the things that are excellent. You see, the other translation says, determine things that really matter. Determine things that really matter. That you may approve the things that are excellent, that you may be sincere without offense. I've been to a lot of them that just purely offended me. Till the day of Christ, being filled, look here we go again, with the fruits of righteousness. Which are by Jesus Christ, to the glory and praise of God. Reckon what these fruits of righteousness is. When you study this out, let me tell you what the first two are. Love and kindness. First two. Most important. Love and kindness. The consequences of kindness are incalculable. You can't calculate how one act of kindness is like throwing stone in water, and it just goes and goes and goes and goes. And the first act of kindness has the ability to go far beyond that first act. That's how powerful kindness is. There's no way to calculate it. And you see, because kindness in itself is a law. And why is it important? Why is it next to love? Because love is a law. All of the fruit of the Spirit is not laws in themselves, but kindness is a law. There is the law of kindness, the law of love. You see, there's two laws in heaven. Two laws that regulate heaven. The law of love and the law of giving. God so loved that He gave. Those two laws govern heaven. And they govern here if they are in you. If God's love's in you, you will give. You can't help but give. You can give without loving, but you will never love without giving. You see, the Jews know that giving is a law. That's why they do it. But they don't love. But because giving is a law, that law behind giving operates for them. But it'll operate for you because you love.
Glory to God.
Oh my. So those two laws, the law of love and the law of kindness, is so strong until the lines that touch those laws, they get into you, and those, they can't be moved out of you if you never do anything to violate the law. You do something to violate them, like you act unkind, you mistreat someone, but everything that is within the fruit of righteousness will operate proficiently in you. Oh my God. When you come to realize that your purpose is right where you are, there's no way you can lose. No way anybody can stop you. No way that what you have will not be enough. No way the devil can overrun you. No way that sin will ever have dominion over you again. No way that you won't prosper. You will prosper more realizing that I'm now, this day, this moment, at any time that I'm breathing, as long as I'm breathing, I'm in my purpose. Oh my. Now see, your calling is different from your purpose. Your calling is your vocation. That's what you do for a living. My calling, I'm doing my calling right now. I do this for a living. You do something else for a living. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He says, this fruit of righteousness, listen to me, expresses Jesus in us. It's a total expression of Christ, this fruit of righteousness and kindness, because it is law. And you see, what happens then, Jesus lived a perfectly balanced life. Perfectly balanced. He was a son. He was a son. He grew up as a child. But he wanted the things of God. He wanted the things of his Father. Are you hearing me? Are you with me? He wanted the things of his Father as a child. So anyway, he has a way of, when in your purpose and in your calling, bringing you back. Because he already put into that the mistakes you would make, the things you would make, all of the choices you would make. He already knew that. So he already put, let's see, when you make up a program, you put, what's it called? Algorithms? Is that what it's called? Is that what it's called? Algorithms in his program for you. He said, okay, here in this year, it's going to be, they're just really going to mess up. And they're going to do things they shouldn't do. But we're going to keep our angels. We're going to have some extra guard here. And our hand will have to be extra heavy here. The enemy will try to kill them here. And I would have died several times. You probably would too, would have too. You would have. Several times you would have. But you see, he knew that. And the protection was there to stop it.
Glory to God.
So now we're at the peaceable fruit of righteousness. Because we're not children anymore. We're sons. And we're going to live like we are. This kindness, you see, it may take sacrifices. You can do kindness without money. It won't cost you anything, just a little bit of time and a little bit of energy. Amen. But a lot of people, they're too busy. Let me catch you tomorrow. See, I need to talk to them right now. You're not important enough. And see, nothing you do is real. Nothing you do is sincere. But I want everything I do to be sincere. Everything. If this peaceable fruit of righteousness and this law of kindness is not in us, you know what? Nothing in your life is balanced. It's not balanced. It's not balanced. He was no respecter of person. Kindness doesn't cost you anything. These little children around here that run up behind me and grab my leg, they're just as important to me as you are. Amen. And I'll reach down and tend to them when I may not tend to you. I don't want them to walk off disappointed. I don't want them to walk off hurt. I don't want them to walk off feeling that they were neglected. I'll tell them to take their hands out of their pocket, and I'll tell them to be quiet, and I'll tell them to sit down, and I'll tell them to shut up. But they're used to that. See, I'm not going to hurt them because I love them. I'll reach down for them. Nothing is more important than being kind. So you sacrifice a little bit of time, a little bit of energy to be kind to somebody. It requires discipline to be thoughtful of somebody else. You have to be thoughtful. You have to be thoughtful. And that requires a man, a son to think. I don't have time for all that. It takes a thoughtful son to encourage. You have to think. Even in business. Don't be afraid of anybody in business. Don't be afraid of them. Don't be afraid of your teachers. They were where you are. Don't be afraid of anybody. Are you hearing me? Amen. Don't be afraid of somebody you want to do business with. Don't do that. They need you. Amen. They just don't know it yet. Pray before you get there, before they get there. Open up their thinking, Father. Show them how bad they need us. Show them how bad they need this company. Show them how badly they need my help. Show them how wise it would be for them to choose us instead of choosing those people. They gonna choose somebody. It may as well be you. Amen. Isn't that the truth? It may as well be you. It may as well be you. If they gonna choose somebody, it may as well be you. So stand up and say that. Well, you know, well. Get busy. Get busy and stop all that. Be a son. Be a son. How do you think Jesus, did you think he just slumped in the room? No, people followed him. Why? Because he knew where he was going. He didn't ask people for nothing to eat. Y'all got anything to eat around here? No, he had enough to him. He fed 5,000. Sit down. Sit down. Y'all hungry? Sit down. Them aggravating disciples. Well, what we gonna feed them? My God, that'd take a year's salary, and we ain't got nothing. Don't hire anybody like that. If they're not talking the same way you are, get rid of them. And if they won't let you teach them, don't hire them to start with. Well, you give them something to eat. Well, what? There's a kid here with 2 fish and 3 loaves. Well, bring it here to me. People are. And so he prays and starts breaking it. And so tell the people to sit down. And see, they didn't know anything about that until he left. And then they didn't learn it. They had to hear it from Paul. Peter didn't write any of this. He said, we have learned these things from Paul, which are some of these things are hard to understand. Well, when I come along, it looked pretty simple to me. You either get it or you don't. This peaceable fruit of righteousness that he's mentioned over and over and over, the work of righteousness, the effect of righteousness, he even realized that there was a crown of righteousness waiting for him. He was about to die at that point in 2 Timothy chapter 4. But he said, it's not just for me. This crown of righteousness is for those that will live this way, that will receive this fruit of righteousness. Every son, not children. It may require discipline, but he gives us a robe and a crown.
You have been watching Words of Light for Today with Linda Adkins. For prayer or a free CD of today's message, please call 904-289-9727. Visit our website at wordsoflight.org, where you may order explosive and anointed teaching messages or other great resources from our bookstore. Be blessed and join Linda Adkins next time as she brings Words of Light for Today.